for the Ron and Brian podcast. Get ready to fill your ears with the latest news, politics, current events, and whatever else we feel like talking about this week. And now, your hosts, Ron and Brian.
All right. Good evening, everybody. It is a snowy Sunday night here in the Northeast. It is time for episode 189 of the Ron and Brian podcast. I'm here, as always, with my buddy Brian. Brian, how the hell are you this evening, my friend?
I'm doing great, Ron. Life is nothing but a series of peaks and valleys. Right now, I am riding a valley.
All right.
Knowing that I will be at a peak at some point in the very near future.
Do you ride a valley or do you surf a valley? Because a valley is kind of going down, so I feel less like a surfing motion, more like a riding.
Oh, no. I am slithering. I am slithering through the valley. At some point, I just feel like it's going to start heading in the up direction.
All right. Hey, you know what? They always say a setback is a setup for a comeback.
You're going to have to repeat that about 4 times because not only did it go over my head because I'm in the valley, so it's easy to go over. I'm all the way down here, but it also confused the living shit out of me.
All right. Well, let's maybe just skip ahead then to drink of the week.
Drink of the week.
Na zdrowie.
Salud.
Drink of the week.
Pleasure. Who's?
Drink of the week. Drink of the week. Drink of the week.
All right, Brian, what did you bring to drink for this special evening?
Ron, before we get to that, I'm going to ask you a question that I asked you recently.
All right.
How long is a beer good in a refrigerator?
Excellent question. I still have no answers for you. I'm probably not the best person to ask, but I don't know. How long has this particular beer been in your beer fridge?
I'm going to say maybe 20 months.
That's probably pushing it a tad, unless it's a darker one. What
It is a dark. It is. Look at the color of this bad boy.
Oof. That is dark. What's the name of that beer?
You are looking at Overnight Celebrity.
Oh, yes. I remember that one from your Tavor box, if I remember.
Absolutely. That's how far back we are going on this one. As new listeners to the show will be quick to realize, I am right now in the process of emptying out my beer fridge with a bunch of IPAs that I'm not really interested in drinking anymore. I want to move back to the Pilsners, the lagers, whatnot. So I'm working my way through. I've got something, I don't know if you can pick up. It's called Overnight Celebrity. And, just off the top of my head, I would describe it as an 11.5% ABV Imperial Porter aged in maple bourbon. That's going to be good. Oh, that's going to be good. Watch this.
All right. Take a sip. Let me know how it is.
Oh, that is a good beer.
All right. I liked it.
I taste the maple. I taste the bourbon. There's a hint of espresso beans, a slight touch of coconut. There's a aroma of macadamia nut with a dark malt on the nose.
Very fancy description.
Ron?
Yes.
What are you drinking?
Tonight, I went back to the one that I've had previously, going back to the Black is Beautiful series, the Russian Imperial Stout. This one brewed locally by Locust Lane Craft Brewery in Malvern, PA. Clocking in, this one only clocking in at 9%, not up in the double digits like yours, but again, got a nice body to it, a nice nose, nice flavor. And by buying it, you're supporting justice causes and supporting people of color. So I thought it was appropriate for this MLK weekend to go with the Black is Beautiful beer again. Cheers to you, my friend.
Is it really MLK weekend?
You got to pay attention to your calendar, sir.
Oh, son of a biscuit. Well, I work in the construction industry, so tomorrow is not a holiday for me.
I'm in the hospitality industry. We will all be working as well.
Excellent. So hospitable of you.
Thank you. In the meantime, we've got to talk about Beef of the Week.
Ron and Brian's Beef of the Week.
right, Brian, what's bothering you this week besides your internet connection?
My earbuds. Is my internet bad? Should I log out and go back in?
I don't think it's going to help. You keep going in and out, so I think it's because of the weather. But just plow forward. Do it up.
All right. I recently purchased some earbuds by a trusted brand called Anchor. These are the Soundcore Life A2 from Anchor. And as you know, I'm not a big fan of the Apple iPods. AirPods. I was close. All right. So as you can see, the way that the dynamic of this earbud works is, you've got the mechanism and it's got the little rubber tip that you can replace based on different sizes.
Looks
Are you
very
following
similar to your
me?
butt plug. Okay, continue. Yes.
The butt plug only comes in one size. It's a flared base. Okay. So on Friday night of this weekend, I was listening to music in my ears. I went to take out the earbud from my ears, and the rubber tip was not attached to the mechanism.
That had to sting a little bit.
Jammed in the ear, just deep in there. I tried to get out with my hands. Now I'm in public right now at this moment when I realize this. And I'm digging and I'm digging. I'm trying to get it out. And I in the process, I push it further in.
How did you end up getting it out?
I fortunately was in a location where there were EMS technicians close by. I approached one of them, explained my situation, and they were very fortunate enough to take out a pair of medical tweezers.
Really?
And one was like holding my ear open and pulling back. The other one went in and just yanked this thing out.
Wow. That is bad. That is a more legitimate beef of the week than you've had recently. That is a danger to your hearing and maybe your brain even.
It was deep in there.
All right. Well,
so shoddy manufacturing by Anchor. Fuck them. No more.
All right. Fair enough.
Ron?
Yes, sir.
What's bothering you?
You know what? This may seem minor, Brian, compared to almost losing hearing in your ear, but my beef is with the NFL game this afternoon, the Cowboys against the Niners, and the Nickelodeon sponsorship of it. Did you watch any of the game, Brian? Did you see SpongeBob in the uprights or the starfish, whoever he is, and then when a team would score, the animated slime would shoot up from the end zone? And they just talked about slime repeatedly. It was over the top branding.
No,
I get it. The NFL whores themselves out on a pretty consistent basis, but this was annoying as hell.
Question.
Yes.
Now, were you watching the special Nickelodeon simulcast, or were you watching the original?
I was watching
channel,
it on whatever the channel it was on.
472.
This is how bad it was when they were doing the highlights at halftime. Instead of playing the actual plays, they did animations with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as the players. Absolutely ridiculous.
That sounds
the only good thing is that we both picked against the NFC East today, which was the thing to do. And again, those titanium members of our Patreon, which of course you can get at ronandbrianpodcast.com, titanium level members received our exclusive NFL locks of the week this week. Definitely paid for itself this month with all those betting victories.
Of course.
Yeah.
And the thing is this, I mean, during the course of the regular season, you went 36-0 on your locks of the week.
Correct.
I also, just because I love a good competition, also went 36-0. We gave those picks out to the masses during the regular season, but during the playoffs, that we put that behind the paywall. That was only for our Patreon, the titanium level or higher. Those were the people that we truly the people who support us, we truly supported.
Exactly. Well, Brian, the only thing more exciting than the money we bring in from Patreon is when we are able to have a special guest on the show, which we do this evening. Brian, can you provide our guest with an introduction in your inimitable format?
No. This man requires no introduction. This man is not a man. This man is a legend. This man, they broke the mold from the hardened streets of Brooklyn, from weight unknown, height unknown, with a undefeated record of 36-0, 14 by knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you for the first time on the Ron and Brian podcast, Mr. Alan Robert.
All right, welcome to the show.
How do you top that? I don't think you could top that.
Alan, let me ask you a question. What are you drinking?
I went with the Stella tonight.
It's a classic. It's a standard.
You know,
Good call.
I just got over COVID. This is my first beer back.
Really? Welcome. Now, walk us through your COVID nightmare. What were your symptoms? How did you catch it? Who do we need to lay a beat down on?
I wish I knew. You know, it's just, I think everyone's getting it now. You know, I wear my mask where I'm supposed to wear my mask, and we've been super isolated and canceled Christmas and the whole thing, and still got it. So, but I live to tell the tale. Wasn't so bad. You know, I'm vaccinated, and we made it through. My wife is getting over it too. Thankfully, our kid did not get it. But
hold on a second. You're telling me that you caught it. You're telling me that your wife caught it, but your child did not.
Correct. Yep.
Is it possible that she does not have the receptors? Or is it possible that she brought it into the house?
I guess anything's possible, you know, but she tested negative. So I guess it all depends on when you test and all that jazz.
Now, which kind of test did you do? You go on PCR, at home, rapid?
You know me. There's a backup for a backup for a backup, right?
Always. You taught me well, sir.
So, and I still have a little bit of cough. Basically, I had a sore throat, tired, fatigue. I actually had COVID fog. Like, I did two stupid things in one day that I was just like, how the hell did that happen? You know, like, I don't understand.
Was one of them agreeing to come on to the show? Was one
that
of those?
Was it. That was the first
one. Okay.
And I got stuck with that obligation. So here I am. But then a sore throat, and I was like, okay, you know, maybe I should go get a test. I went to the urgent care, and the line was around the block. I mean, it was insane. It looked like The Walking Dead out there. It was just like, there's no way I'm not going to dedicate my day to this. So I ended up getting a home test from a friend, and sure enough, the home test was positive, and I was like, no way, this is impossible. You know, that's it. I grabbed my kid, and I went to the paid test site, and I decided to get the rapid test and the PCR test just to be sure.
Of course.
And got my daughter a test. And all of mine were positive, and hers was negative. So go figure. I have no idea how we got it.
So how long have you been battling this?
I would say right after New Year's was when I started.
So we'll call it 2 weeks at this point. You look great, by the way. And I'm not saying that to make you feel uncomfortable.
I tested negative about a week ago, I guess.
And and I guess like this, do you now feel superhuman?
I do feel a lot better going out on tour in a few days. That I got it out of the way. You know what I mean?
Good. We're moving forward. You are, as many people are aware, you are the bass player for a band called Life of Agony, a band that had a major impact on my life. And you are going out on tour very shortly, next week, correct?
Whenever the 26th is, yes.
That would be next week.
Next Wednesday.
Walk me through this tour, unless you prefer I do it, because it feels like I might have more information than you at this moment.
All I know is this. We were supposed to go out on the road Friday, the 13th of March, 2020. And that was the day everything shut down. It was
Yes.
We were supposed to be in Philly with Doyle, and we couldn't even load up to go to the show. Everything had shut down, and we thought it was going to be like a 2-week thing delay. And here we are,
were going
2
to
years
flatten the
later.
curve.
And here we are. So this is our first trek back out into the world, and we're a well-oiled machine. We've been rehearsing, and it's been a lot of fun to pick up the bass again and play these songs again.
So we're sticking to the Northeast, correct?
Yeah, I mean, we were set to play some shows with Doggy Dog. I guess last year, and
In the fall.
And we were supposed to do Europe and everything, and we had to cancel all those dates. So this was our way of kind of making up for some of that. I'm just super psyched that we're able to do it.
So we're going to hit Teaneck, New Jersey. Lovely Teaneck, New Jersey. We're hitting Broken Goblet, Ben Salem, PA. Ron, if there's anything that will get you to leave the house, I know that you've been in quarantine for the past 24 months, but Broken Goblet you will come out for, correct?
We will be at that show. Ron and Brian will be in attendance.
Then we are staying in Pennsylvania. And
Wait. Are you guys going to do a live podcast from the show?
We could. They've got a very fancy backstage area. Oh, hold on a second. Why don't we do the podcast after Kings Never Die, but before Doggy Dog goes on? We'll just set up our laptops on the stage, do a quick, 45, 50-minute podcast. The crowd will be into it. They'll just love it. I mean, the bar sales will increase. Right?
Of course.
No. Then we're going to Stroudsburg, PA, which is what? That's in the Poconos?
It's up that way, yes.
All right. Then we're trekking all the way north, Syracuse, almost to the border. What is Syracuse known for, Ron?
It's known for the Orange Man. It's called the Salt City because that's where all the salt used to be stored before it was iodized and sent out to your homes.
Then we travel all the way over to Massachusetts, right outside of Boston, Brighton Music Hall. Then trekking back into New York, the Empire State. We hit the Chance, Poughkeepsie, New York. I heard they put a lot of money into renovating that recently. Then we come down all the way to Brooklyn, your home, the motherland, Warsaw, not the one in Poland, the one in Williamsburg, on a Friday night, followed Saturday by the legendary Stone Pony in Asbury Park. What do you have lined up for the fans for this set? What are we looking for?
We actually learned some songs that we haven't played in a long ass time. Some songs that we've never played with V, and some deep cuts, man.
Have you is there any truth to the rumor that I've been seeing on Twitter that you'll be doing a 48-minute version of Inagata Devita?
I think that earbud got really stuck up there.
It was in the whole. Do you understand the shame?
I know the problem.
The shame of having to walk around asking total strangers if they have tweezers before
Where were you?
I was at a nursing home visiting my father. So I assumed everybody around me was a trained medical person, and none of them had tweezers. And one person looked at me and said I had to go to the emergency room because they said once it's in the ear, you don't want to lose your hearing. And I said, I've been to so many concerts, I don't care. Get this thing out. And then it finally came out. Like I see you're wearing your fashionable Apple AirPods.
Got it right this time.
Yes. So you're protected.
There's no way this is getting lost in my ear. If anything, it's falling out way too often.
which is why I've avoided those. Where are we, in your office?
Yeah.
I've always been very key. One of my high points of this pandemic has been looking at people's backgrounds and seeing where they are.
Mm-hmm.
I like that little nook. Okay,
where,
I can visualize
where
where you
all
are.
the magic happens.
The entrance is to your left or to the right?
To my right
is the entrance. Excellent. All right. Now let's get to the meat. The meat, the real reason you're here, which is you have recently rolled out your entree into the world of NFTs, something that you have entitled Monster Chompers. I'm going on 50. I will be 50 in a few months, and I have struggled to wrap my brain around NFTs. These things did not seem to be part of the zeitgeist 18 months ago. And now it is. It seems to be the center of the art industry in terms of the direction everything is heading. And I have struggled to grasp it. I tried speaking to you about it, and I know you gave up on me, but I said, you know what? Give me another shot. Come on the show and please explain to me what is Monster Chompers and how do I get involved?
All right. Well, let's back up a little bit.
Okay.
So an NFT is basically a graphic, a photo, a video, something that is minted to the blockchain. If you're talking about cryptocurrency and all that stuff, so that it's basically computed into using code into a blockchain forever. And everything that happens on this blockchain is transparent. You could see every transaction. You could see if a graphic changes hands between two different users, and it provides a certain authenticity of the data was created and every transaction moving forward. So that's basically, so think of it like for old guys like me, because I just turned 50, of collecting comics, baseball cards, signed memorabilia. Think of it like that, but a digital form that is proven authentic based on the blockchain technology.
So there is an authority that you can reach out to confirm that this is a legitimate, one-of-a-kind piece of art.
All you have to do is look up the metadata of each image that is produced, minted to the blockchain, and you can see very easily when it was created, who owns it, who created it, etc.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So you created 10,000 of these NFTs?
Correct.
That must have taken you quite a while.
Well, they're randomly generated based on the art that I supplied the company that wrote all the code. So basically, as you can see from this graphic, every creature has teeth, set of eyes, noses, mouths, different items that they're eating. So all of those were hand drawn.
Mm-hmm.
And there's maybe, I don't know, 20 to 50 different variations of each set of eyes and things. And then they're put into a program using algorithms, and it spits out randomly. This is the cool part, different percentages of rarities. So you could get one with a gold tooth, let's say that's the one that's super rare, or it's eating a certain food that is will only pop up 1 in 100.
Okay.
So those items become more rare than the rest of them, and then ultimately are worth more. They have a bigger value, just like if you found a rookie card of one of your favorite players, like let's say a Michael Jordan or somebody like that.
All righty. Okay. So now is there I was on the website earlier today, is there a it seems like there is a story. There is a it's almost like there's a restaurant theme to this.
Mhm.
Can you walk me through that?
Well, basically, the cool part about NFTs, what's cool for me, is that it's not just buying a piece of art. There's a utility involved. It almost acts like a all access pass to other experiences. So with this case, we're creating a graphic novel that will be published, and we're getting the community involved to weigh in on certain storylines, character names, uh, direction for where the graphic novel ultimately will go. And so, if you join the community by getting a monster chomper, then you have a say in where the characters will take place in this world. And it's basically almost like a if you ever saw The Freshman with Marlon Brando.
Yes, great movie, totally
Where they-
underrated with Matthew Broderick.
Yes,
Yes,
where they had these exotic eateries that you can
yes,
eat illegal foods, right?
yes,
This is the same kind of concept, but with monsters. They're eating these pop-up eateries, open up in human restaurants in the middle of the night. They take over the restaurant. Monsters come from all over the world to eat at these dining experiences, and then they burn the place down at the end of the night. And they
okay,
move from town to town to do this. And so that's what the graphic novel is about, and all these
okay,
characters are in it.
interesting. Now, did somebody approach you with this concept? Did you approach like how did you get involved in the NFT world?
I had no idea about NFTs except for like you guys, saw the quick headline of some NFT sold for millions of dollars. That's all I knew about them,
Yeah,
and I never got involved with cryptocurrency or anything. I never owned it. I have family members that got in early and on Bitcoin and this and that, but that I would always hear rumblings that family things. Um, but basically, about 6 months ago, I was interested in developing a beauty of horror um, coloring app, and I hooked up with this digital company from Argentina, and we started to talk over Zoom during the pandemic. And actually, the owner of the company is a bass player, and we would talk about basses for a long time, and we really hit it off. And even though that the beauty of horror coloring app got put on the back burner, we started this relationship, and we really wanted to find a project that we were interested in collaborating on, and NFTs were brought up by them, and I did some research and got excited about it, and it was something that we could do together rather quickly, as long as I was able to supply them with all the artwork, which I just
mhm.
put my head down, and over 3 months I drew all these elements and came up with this concept.
How do you mentioned earlier that people that there are rarities? Do people know when they're getting a rarity, or is it something that they can compare to others after they purchase it? Do they get to select the one they're getting, or is it they just enter their order and and one gets spit out, like you mentioned, getting ordering opening up a pack of baseball cards?
It's
Is
just
that
like
the way it
that.
works?
Yeah, it's like if you're a Pokemon collector or a baseball card collector, you don't know what you're gonna get when you mint it to the blockchain. So you could get the most rare monster chopper there is, and for the same price as you would, a general one. It's pretty fun. Some of them are animated,
Really?
some of them are static. There's all different kinds.
Now, do any of them look like me?
We could put up some. We could put up some side by sides and see what we got.
Do any of them wear a backpack filled with duct tape, Sharpies, and base picks?
You'll have to mint one and find out.
I'll do my best. Now, another question: these cannot be purchased with cash. You need to buy crypto. They have to be purchased in crypto, correct?
That's right. Yeah. So they're on the Ethereum blockchain. So it accepts two different wallets, two different crypto wallets, MetaMask and Fortmatic. And whichever one you have, you just fund those wallets connected to the site. It's pretty easy if you're a little familiar with crypto.
I might need some help next week.
I'll show you how to do it.
Okay, thank you very much. What else? Oh, you mentioned Beauty of Horror. How is that going? I heard a rumor. There was a rumor on the street that your adult horror coloring series, Beauty of Horror. Now that is the first 4. You've published 5, but I heard a rumor that you're working on number 6 also.
That is correct. Yep.
How do you do it?
I've been home for 2 years. First of all, it's a pleasure to do it. It's an absolute pleasure to be in this office and draw whatever I want, whatever comes to my mind, and be able to publish it. So grateful that Beauty of Horror number 1 became a huge hit and allowed me to continue exploring the Beauty of Horror universe and developing characters and worlds. That's something I'm passionate about. So it's an amazing experience to be able to do it continuously, and to be asked by the publisher to when's the next one coming, and there's plans for Beauty of Horror 7, and animated series and action figures and all kinds of stuff going on with Beauty of Horror. So it really is, especially being a musician, being grounded, due to the pandemic, I had some creative outlet to focus on and stay positive and try and get through this crazy time, just like everybody else out there.
You just kind of tapped on it. But all joking aside, I know I tend to kind of approach things with a sense of humor, but in all honesty, how has your pandemic been? And I say that in the sense of some people have truly suffered from having their, normal life been completely disrupted. Other people I know have described it as some of the best 2 years of their life, to be, not forced to go into an office, or, to be able to spend more quality time with their family, and whatnot. Not to say that we are outside of the pandemic or ending the pandemic, but how's your experience been?
I gotta say, being an introvert, it hasn't been too bad, except for the anxiety of like going out into the world and fearing that I'm gonna bring this virus back home to my wife, who has some underlying conditions. That's been like the big fear of like trying to keep it out of my house. So like in the very beginning, I was all, gloves and masks and double masks, and really trying to do my best to just keep it out of my house.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately we got it, and we're here to tell the tale. But we lost some family members along the way, and like a lot of people we know, and the band was sidelined. Thankfully we were able to channel some energy together remotely and finish up the documentary that we were working on and do that director's cut screening that we did last year. We raised a bunch of money for charities, which was great. So we were able to kind of do our thing from our own different places safely.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's been challenging, man. It's been challenging. I'm super grateful that I was able to work on the books and the NFT stuff, and artwork for Pantera during the break, and now getting back to real life. I feel like we're finally coming out of it a little bit.
Oh, we're very close. You mentioned the documentary that you put out, which came out. It was on last year. It was available for streaming. Sound of Scars. Look at that. Look at that artwork. So incredible. Whoever did that artwork should get a promotion, a raise, and some acknowledgement. What are the plans for this documentary? I know that, what you and I had talked about it. You've been talking about putting it through some film festivals, whatnot. Obviously, all that got squashed with the pandemic. Nobody was doing film festivals. So you guys put it out yourselves. It seemed to get a lot of incredible feedback. I know even Ron watched it.
I did. I'm not. I wasn't too familiar with the band prior, but it was a fantastic documentary.
Thank you.
So, what are your plans for it now? Because it has to have more life to it. There's no way that that we can walk away with it streaming for a couple days.
Yeah, well, that was really just to get some feedback and to raise money for charity and finish the film. And that was a great experience too. It gave us a highlight during the lockdown. It was like everyone was home anyway. Might as well watch something cool and interesting story. And I have to give a lot of credit to Lee Brooks, the director, who really put endless hours, not only flying over to America to interview our families and follow us around on tour, and his crew, Richard Lynch and others, that just gave up so much time and energy to make it happen. I can't let too much out of the bag, but I can say that it did find a home, and that will be announced really, really soon.
Excellent. Is it are the rumors true that the interview that I gave will be part of the this new special edition remix?
I haven't seen that yet, but I'm hoping for it. But I can tell you that when it does come out on Blu-ray, it will be available online and streaming as well. But when it does come out on Blu-ray, it will have something like 45 to 50 extra minutes of footage.
Which is interesting because my interview was between 45 and 50 minutes. So I am honored. I am truly honored that you decided to air my entire interview with Lee Brooks, just in its entirety. I mean, I'm touched.
Now, Brian's too humble to bring this up, but he did. Apparently, Brian did background vocals on your Spoiler NYC album. Were they the best vocals you've ever been part of?
In all my years of recording, I have to say he didn't miss one note.
It was wonderful. It was the highlight of my life. I mean, I've been married, I've been divorced, I've had some ups, I've had some downs. And that Spoiler record, those actually, all joking aside, those were a lot of fun days.
I agree.
Anything else you would like to add? Because this has been awesome having you aboard, but I'm not sure you want to stick. Do you want to stick around while we spend 20 minutes talking about COVID?
Is that the plan?
That is our plan. We've got about 20, 25 minutes left in this show. We have so much COVID to talk about.
I think I will watch it like everybody else, and maybe I'll chime in on the chat.
Then I'm going to say this. Thank you so much for joining us, Alan Robert. It has been a pleasure. I have not seen you in person in many months. I look forward to seeing you very soon. Bring
your duct tape, your paper,
I will.
everything in that backpack that I depend on dearly. Do all those Sharpies work though? Come on.
I'm ordering new ones.
Get on top of it, Brian. You've had 2 years to get new Sharpies.
I'm on it.
Last time was like amateur hour last time.
It was bad. We will do better this time. Thank you so much for joining us, Al.
Thank you.
I love you. And I look forward to seeing you again.
Thanks, guys. Great seeing you.
Thank you.
Be good. What a man. What a man.
You can go to lifeofagony.com for tour dates and ticket information, and monsterchompers.com for information on his NFTs, which I think my favorite part of the interview was watching you glaze over as he used terms like metadata and blockchain.
When he said blockchain, I did not want to embarrass myself because I know I'm going to have another conversation with him where he's going to have to explain to me what a blockchain is. I'm going to buy one of these monster chompers, and he's going to have to walk me through it because I don't. I understand it more now.
Okay.
But I still feel like I'm only comprehending 60-70% of it.
I mean, you have to get yourself a digital wallet. Obviously, you buy yourself some Ethereum. You buy yourself some Ethereum. It looks like so Ethereum closed today at like $3,325, which I'm not even sure what that means. I guess one Ethereum is $3,325.
Okay.
It looks like a monster chomper is 0.05 Ethereum, which would put it right in that $170 ballpark right now.
It's not so bad. Does he accept Dogecoin? I should have asked that question. Damn it.
You're that way.
Damn it. I should have asked him if he accepts Dogecoin.
But yeah, I mean, I think again, it is, I think apart from the non-cash trying to figure out Ethereum thing, I mean, it's just another medium for people to have art on. It's like you're not buying like a physical painting, you're not buying a print, like you're buying a digital copy. And I think, I probably 10 years from now, that'll be the standard. Like everyone will be like, yes. Oh, yeah, you want to see my NFT collection? It's just,
and what I find interesting about what I like about this setup that he's got is that it's like you're spinning the roulette wheel, where it is each time you go to buy something, it's a matter of it's going to take a little this, a little that, little here, based on the percentage of frequency that it's going to exist, and it's going to create a custom piece of art for you.
Correct.
Though he did mention the idea of a gold tooth, and I feel like I deserve a gold tooth monster chopper.
Listen, if you can figure out Ethereum, maybe you'll get a gold tooth.
Do you think he's got the power to actually just issue me one? Like, do you think he's got that kind of pull where you can just say to somebody, "Hey, here, this guy, give him a gold tooth one"?
Listen, you'd have to ask him yourself. You know him better than I do.
So we're going to Bro Gob.
Broken Goblet, Friday, January 28th, Life of Agony. That's the second Life of Agony show at Broken Goblet. The first one was what, 2019?
It was 2019. I think it was in May. The question is this: will you and the wife stick around for the show?
It's we're very old. It will be a Friday night, but I will.
So you can stay out late.
Here's the thing: maybe I come on my own. And
why don't you invite the Jardis? Invite the Jardis to Bro Gob.
I think the Jardis would be up for a party.
Okay, you know what? Do me a favor. Reach out to the Jardis. Invite them to Bro Gob. Because that is a fun venue, and Life of Agony there. I feel like you owe it to yourself, you owe it to your wife to see Life of Agony live. It's going to be fun.
All right, we'll do. So what do we got on tap this week, Brian? We've been following the
much COVID,
Djokovic saga all week, where he went to the Australian Open because he had a supposed medical exemption because he is not vaccinated against COVID-19.
Naturally immunized.
When he got there, he was blocked from coming in.
Not the blockchain, but just blocked.
Not the blockchain, just blocked. They said he couldn't get in. They then had a virtual hearing with Australia's Federal Circuit Court, which was interrupted numerous times by memes, music, and porn clips because they made the mistake of putting the link for the virtual hearing out to the general public.
No.
Yes. Yeah. So initially the revocation, I'm not even sure if that's a word. The cancellation of his visa was halted by a court because they said that Australia did not give him enough time to respond. Then the government still threatened to cancel his visa. I believe, I forget what authority it was in Australia. So Federal Circuit Court Judge Anthony Kelly initially reinstated Djokovic's visa. And then there was a government official that canceled it. And what made it even more serious when this government official invoked personal power of cancellation, it's called, is now not only was his visa canceled, he can't return to Australia for 3 years now.
And he's the defending Australian Open tennis champion.
Right. And he was also, he was going to set potentially a Grand Slam record if he could win the Australian Open.
Which is almost as impressive as the Grand Slam record you broke at Denny's in 1993 in Colony, New York.
I mean, we did love the Denny's bottomless cup of coffee, but the High Court in Australia canceled his visa yet again, and he was deported earlier yesterday, I believe it was.
Now, what are your thoughts on that? Do you where's your stance? Are you team Djokovic or are you anti Djokovic?
You know, I again, it's difficult because you hear a lot of conflicting stories, and you know, I had heard that the exemption that was given to him was also given to 3 other players. But I've heard conflicting stories as to whether his documentation had as much validity as these other ones. I mean, but you know, so hopefully he was being treated equally, but his level of stardom always it created such an uproar, and Australia has really been trying to lock down on people now. But what I think kind of turned me against him was an article came out a few days back where he admitted that he did an interview and a photo shoot in Belgrade, knowing that he had tested positive for COVID-19 the day before.
Yeah, no. There's photos.
Inform any of the people that he was positive, which I would say is kind of a dick move.
There's a photo of him like with his arm around a I would say probably a 10-year-old kid, but we know they don't have the receptors. I mean, Alan's daughter does not have the COVID, so she clearly doesn't have the receptors, just as Dr. Drew claimed over 3 years ago.
So it's tough for me. You know, I'm a tennis fan. I'm a Djokovic.
Are you?
Fan.
Whoa! Time out.
Yeah.
You're a tennis fan?
I played tennis in high school and college, and yeah. You never knew. You're learning something new. We can, you know, it's touching that after all these years together, we can still learn something new about one another.
You used to play tennis?
Yeah. I played on my high school tennis team for 3 years.
Tell me that there's a photo in a yearbook.
Oh, there definitely is. There definitely is.
Please.
Maybe if you're lucky, I will scan it and post it on the Instagram.
Oh my God. I'm gonna go get my flashlight right now just thinking about it.
Yeah, I was MVP doubles my junior year, and I was MVP singles. I haven't shown you my trophies.
Oh, you showed me your trophy, but I mean, it had nothing to do with tennis.
Oh, what else do we have COVID wise?
Oh my, no. You don't get to drop that you were on your high school tennis team and then go, oh, let's just talk about something else.
Why not?
Wow. I need to. Okay. Now, what years were you playing tennis? And I'll tell you where I'm going with this, because I'm visualizing that these were the days of the very high up shorts.
There were some short shorts involved. This was the late 80s.
I'm thinking like mid-thigh. Like these were like right before Jerry Sandusky really came to form.
Yes, without a doubt. Did you freeze, or are you just holding that pause for me?
Nah, that was just me thinking about your thighs and Jerry Sandusky. Okay, also moving on. I mean, like there's just so much COVID stuff to talk about. There was a story earlier this week about a man who was posting ads looking for escorts. I believe this was Thailand.
Checks out. Sounds about right.
There was a man in Thailand who posted an ad on a personals website looking for a COVID positive escort to spend time with. He said in the ad there was going to be no sexual activity expected whatsoever. He was just trying to catch COVID, apparently.
That is, listen, we have said often that we don't kink shame here on the
Right
podcast. So if that
Right.
is what you want to get an escort for, I guess more power to you. Now, we are seeing cancellations of many cruises, vacations, things of that nature, with the exception of a cruise that left today, run by Atlantis Events. It is a gay and lesbian tour featuring 5,500 people that will be cruising the Caribbean.
Now, is this a Norwegian cruise line?
I don't believe so. I'm not exactly. It's Royal Caribbean, the oasis of the seas.
If these people are on a Royal Caribbean cruise, I hope they all catch COVID, because there's one thing that we know, and that is Norwegian Cruise Lines has a higher, they are the gold standard of health, what's the word I'm thinking of? Regulations, standards, care.
Sure. Go with that.
Help me. Eric Clapton. Come on now.
I'm leaving you hanging there. Sorry.
You bastard.
This has gotta stop.
Yeah, so the cruise has left, but yeah, we've even had stories of a Norwegian cruise where there are passengers stuck at sea because they canceled the cruise mid-voyage.
But isn't this is the part that I don't understand, is that hasn't the CDC said, laid out recommendations, don't go on a cruise right now?
That is what they're saying. I mean, I think they're just, they're advising people to make smart decisions and to, determine whether they want to be amongst groups of people or whatnot.
That is insane.
Well, Brian, we wouldn't have a discussion about COVID if we did not also bring about our dead anti-vaxxer of the week.
Dead anti-vaxxer of the week.
Brian, who do you bring to the table for your dead anti-vaxxer?
All right. My dead anti-vaxxer of the week is Barry Benedetto. Do you have a photo of him?
We do, right up on the screen there for you.
Hold on, I'm going to do the look right now.
It's a sexy look.
Okay. Barry Benedetto, 62, Franklin, North Carolina. Now, I will not come after this man for being from North Carolina. I will not come after this man from being from being a Christian musician. I will not come after this man for being an anti-vaxxer. I will come after this man for being on the very first Cinderella website.
Yeah. Yep.
He was on the website. He was on the album. He recorded with Cinderella.
He was a session guitarist for them, apparently.
Okay, so Barry Benedetto, he is 62. He is a musician who recently announced that he was, back in July, he became the contemporary worship lead guitarist at Discovery Church in North Carolina. This man posted frequently on social media during the pandemic that we needed to trust God's plan for our lives, that we did not need to interrupt God's plan for our lives. In August of this past year, he started posting on Facebook. I've noticed a trend here with these dead anti-vaxxers where they all seem to want to use Facebook.
Interesting.
Very rarely Twitter, never Twitch. None of these anti-vaxxers, excuse me, are on Twitch. Couple are on Grindr, but we don't talk about that because no, I'm not about shaming. They're all on Facebook. So so he was posting in August this year. He started using the tone of his post started to change a little, got a little darker in theme. Started talking about how we will not live in fear, how we will not comply. He started sharing posts that said that the COVID vaccine changed your DNA. Then he started getting a little political. Started talking about people who were not fans of Donald Trump, started referring to them as traitors. And did I also mention that he played guitar in the very first Cinderella album?
You may have mentioned that, yes.
Did I also mention that on December 12th, this man was brought to a local hospital in North Carolina for COVID and was intubated for lack of breathing? Did I mention that after a few weeks, his left lung collapsed? And did I mention that on January 6, 2022, Barry Benedetta passed away?
You just mentioned it, actually.
He is my nominee for Dead Anti-Vaxxer of the Week.
All right. Not too shabby, Brian. But if I may bring my candidate for this week, this is Kirsten Tien Sung Weldon. She is a well-known QAnon conspiracy QTuber, as they're called, who does live feed shows and posts on Telegram. She wrote, quote, Intel Drops, which is a conspiracy theory laden book that she claims was an Amazon bestseller until Amazon killed it by removing it. She was an interior designer. She also was once featured in Newsweek for claiming that Hillary Clinton died of Kuru, which is a disease you can get from eating human-infected brains, and that Angela Merkel was in stage 2 of the same disease. As recently as December 28th, she was live on her show coughing and clearly very ill, claiming she had flu. She had also done some live YouTube shows with Doug Kuzma, who was our Dead Anti-Vaxxer of the Week last week.
Yeah, I recognize the name.
She gets to join Doug once again because on January 7th, she passed away from COVID.
That's a shame.
So, yeah, that is our Dead Anti-Vaxxer of the Week. So as always, we recommend, if you can, go out, get yourself vaccinated.
Dead Anti-Vaxxer of the Week.
Brian, I don't know if you have an answer for this week, but I will ask the question anyway. What are you watching?
Oh, no. I watch nothing new.
No,
I'm almost at the tail end of season 4 of The Sopranos.
Okay.
I started last week. I've watched 2 seasons again. I've decided I needed to see The Sopranos all over again. I am almost done with season 4. I've been doing nothing but watching The Sopranos. I've watched nothing new. I'm up to the part where Ralphie just got killed. Valentina is the flavor of the week, and Pie Oh My just got barbecued.
All right, fair enough.
Ron?
Yes.
What are you watching?
So we binge watched a new series on Netflix called Archive 81. So the premise of it is there is this guy who works. He can restore tapes like videotapes, audio tapes, things of that nature, and he is hired by some shady characters to salvage these videos that were in a fire in an apartment building in New York City. But he has to go to this compound out in the middle of the nowhere because the tapes are too delicate to be moved. And as he fixes these tapes, he watches them, and it becomes kind of a found footage type story of seeing what happened to the woman who was doing this filming. There's a big supernatural undertone to it. 8 episodes. It was pretty good. It was not your typical found footage, because you don't have to just watch the found footage. It actually pulls you into the scene. It was enjoyable. I would highly recommend it. Was not a fan of how they ended the season, but I would still say it's worth a watch.
Okay. Anything else?
I watched the first 3 episodes of the new DC series on HBO Max, Peacemaker, starring John Cena, carrying over his character from the last Suicide Squad movie.
Oh, that character was terrible.
Well, he now has his own show.
Ew.
I think it was.
Does he have that bad hair? Remember, he had that bad.
He still does, yes. And I think it was smart that they dropped the first 3 episodes, because I think it takes that long for it to get its footing underneath it. I don't think you'll like it. I don't know. Maybe check it out and see. Go from there.
Did you watch the new Boba Fett?
I caught the first episode. I haven't seen the additional ones, although spoiler alert, I did hear Danny Trejo is in the latest episode. But Machete is in the latest episode. I did want to see Mayor of Kingstown on Paramount Plus. I did want to catch that, but I haven't had a chance to yet. That's with
whoa, time out. What's Mayor of Kingstown?
That's Jeremy Renner is like I think he's a politician of some sort in the Boston area. If I'm understanding the premieres and the whatever correctly.
Now, if only I had a friend that would share their Paramount Plus login with me.
Me too, because I let my free subscription cancel itself out.
I thought you signed up for that.
I did. So I signed up for like the 7-day free trial, and then I went to cancel it after 7 days. So like, well, don't cancel yet. We'll give you another month for free. And then at the end of the month, I canceled it. I did give you the whatchamacallit, my AMC Plus login.
Yeah, but there's nothing on AMC I want to watch. There was one movie, Silent Night, which if anybody's looking for anything to watch, Silent Night on AMC Plus with Keira Knightley. Holy cow, that was for me, that actually caused me to feel emotion. For me, I actually felt something. I highly recommend that to anyone. But I just feel like I shared my Disney Plus with you.
You did?
And you gave me your temporary login for
well, AMC Plus is still going.
Is it really? I never even wrote down what your did you ever never mind, don't worry about it.
All right.
I just feel like this is a one-directional relationship.
Also, Prince Andrew stripped of his royal titles this past week due to his involvement with Jeffrey Epstein and his pending legal battle.
You have to give respect to Queen Elizabeth, because the day after it's announced that the U.S. court case against him is going to be allowed to continue, the Queen strips him of all his royal privileges, which basically says that if he's found guilty in any of these cases, the lawyers are not going to be able to go after him, or not going to go after the royal family, because he's now no longer a member of the royal family.
He is a private citizen now, and will have to pay for
this was some stone cold shit from the Queen. Like the day after the U.S. court says, no, Prince Andrew is going to have to defend himself in this case, the Queen was just like, oh, by the way, we don't know you anymore. Stone cold shit. You gotta, what do you call it? You gotta respect the way that woman is prepared to defend what she owns.
And he used to apparently make $323,000 a year in whatever royal.
Yeah, no, but he also used to make 16-year-old girls cry while he was on top of them. So like fuck him. I have no sympathy for Prince Andrew.
I'm not saying you should have sympathy for him. I was just amazed that's like a salary that you get for being a royal.
Fuck him.
Fuck him. What else we got this week, Brian?
Can we hype our Patreon?
We can always hype the Patreon, of course. That'll be, we have our After Dark coming up in about 25 minutes,
25 minutes.
If you're a Patreon subscriber, which you can become by going to ronandbrianpodcast.com in the upper right corner, click on Become a Patron. And if you join at the bronze level or higher, you have access to the live video. To check us out. It's the more bawdy stories, the ones that don't quite fit on the free feed.
I'm going to tell you some of the stories we have lined up, and these are things that we're not comfortable putting out on YouTube. We're not comfortable putting out there on Apple Podcasts. We're not comfortable putting out there on Google Play. We've got rapper Kodak Black having sex in public at a hockey game with video, which we're going to show. We've got a guy who got sent to the hospital after drinking champagne and taking Viagra. We've got an internet model who is suing Drake for putting hot sauce in a condom. And Ron is going to talk about the days when he was a furry. I mean, if that's not worth $10 a month, people, go to patreon.com, do a search for Ron and Brian Podcast. Go to Ron and Brian Podcast, click the button that says Be a Patreon. For as little as $10 a month, you can watch the live stream video of us. These are stories that would get us kicked off YouTube. We don't want to get kicked off YouTube.
No, that's happened before.
So join our Patreon, help us help you in continuing to put out, because we vowed every Sunday we're going to put out 1 hour free content. We are never going to charge for the podcast. However, there are expenses that come with doing this podcast. The way we offset some of it is we do a special show behind the paywall on Patreon. We don't ask for a lot of money, as little as $5 a month. $10 gets you the live stream.
And if while you're at ronandbrianpodcast.com, you want to visit the web store, buy some merch, we're not going to stop you. The mug, the hats, the face masks, and there's also merch you can get through the Patreon as well. But
the cock ring, I think, isn't currently in development.
We're working on that. We're working on that. I will say, so the Peacemaker, one thing I forgot to mention in watching the first few episodes, the Peacemaker also owns the Fleshlight. So I feel like, you guys,
I own two.
That kind of connection there.
I have two fleshlights.
All right. Anything else this week, Brian? I feel like this has been a fantastic episode.
I would like to thank our guest, Alan Roderick, for coming on to the show. I know the man is busy. I know the man has a lot of things going on. The fact that he was willing to set aside some of his time on a Sunday night to join us and explain to us what is going on in the NFT world, what an NFT is, and also what his involvement in it. I really appreciate it.
And once again, lifeofagony.com for tour dates and ticket info.
Yes.
Maybe we will see you at Broken Goblet on January 28th. Also, don't forget monsterchompers.com and the Beauty of Horror coloring book series. Brian, my friend, my love, anything else that you have before we wrap up here tonight?
No, I think this is one of our greatest episodes. This is episode 189. People, we have been doing this show for over 3 years, going on 4. Every Sunday night at 8 o'clock. We know one of the things that people talk about is something called the Sunday Scaries. Ron and I sat there and said, what can we do to help the overall anxiety level of America during this pandemic? And we sat there and said, no, we are going to move our podcast to Sunday nights. So every Sunday night, instead of sitting there being concerned that you have to go back to work tomorrow, instead of being concerned that, your weekend is over, you now have something to look forward to. Sunday nights, 8 o'clock Eastern time, Ron and Brian Podcast. We do this every Sunday. Let's do it again a week from today.
All right, sounds good. So for our Patreon folks, we will see you in 20 minutes. For everybody else, thank you for joining us here tonight, and we will see you all again next Sunday.
Thank you for joining us on the Ron and Brian podcast. We're live each week on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. You can find prior episodes, links to our social media, and everything else Ron and Brian at ronandbrianpodcast.com. See you again.